to talk about science fiction and many things which science fiction covers. And first of all, I just want to ask you, how are you feeling? And what are you working on? Are you writing something new?
I just finished a novella. Novella means it is about 15,000 words. It is not a novel. Called The Monster, the Mermaid and Dr. Mengele. Suppose that Frankenstein keeps his word and actually makes a companion for the monster. What material does he use? It is going to be, to a large extent, big fish, such as big tuna, and maybe a seal or two, phokas, but mainly fish, things of the sea. So therefore, we will get a mermaid as the companion for the monster. Okay, so in my novella, this happens, and the monster keeps his word, and he and the mermaid go to South America to live in the jungles, happily and alone, until the Nazis, after the Second World War, arrive in South America, including the sadistic experimenter Dr. Mengele from Auschwitz. I've been writing long short stories. For example, this year it is the anniversary, allegedly, of the birth of Fibonacci. The Fibonacci spiral and the numbers. So the University of Pisa in Italy has commissioned a science fiction anthology from an Italian editor, and he asked me to write a story. So I've written a story about the true Fibonacci, because we don't know much about Fibonacci. In fact, it is only by extreme good luck that we even know the name Fibonacci, which is not his name. It is the phrase Filius, Latin for son, Bonacci, of the Bonacci family. It's not his name even. His importance was as a person who introduced, introduced Arabic numerals, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, instead of I, VI, which was very difficult to work with, introduced these into commerce in the Middle Ages. And this speeded up hugely European capitalism. Now, in my story, the Chinese have invented a time machine, and they want to slow down this process because they have realized that capitalism out of control leads to the destruction of the planet through overconsumption. And so the Chinese send back two persons from Oxford who are being used by the Chinese to remove Fibonacci, to kidnap him in order to slow down the pace of European capitalism. So I'm very interested in the Chinese at the moment, and I'm reading all the speeches by Xi Jinping about the future and what is planned for the growth and development of China, so as to be compatible with the near future, and also hopefully to sell these stories in China as visionary works that will guide the wisdom of Xi Jinping in future.
Do you think that these pandemics can bring some new topics, or just it can make possible to create for some writers to create new subgenres of speculative fiction?
Well, first of all, the pandemic has caused a kind of hysteria, which has produced a kind of hypnosis, whereby the majority of people are unable to think clearly about what is best to do. Now, the fact is that coronavirus is not nice. It is a nasty disease, but it is nowhere like, for example, the Black Death of the Middle Ages, hemorrhagic fever, which I happen to have published a book about, to no great effect, which is a book which has been ignored because still a lot of scientists think that the great Black Deaths of the Middle Ages, which killed up to 90% of their victims, they think this was caused by bubonic flea, rats, fleas, blah, blah, blah. Actually, it was hemorrhagic fever, rather like the Ebola. And also we noticed that the coronavirus, we no longer worry about the surfaces and spraying every surface for cleanliness. It is transmitted person to person. And it took months to realize this. And that should have been obvious from the beginning. But this all distracts attention from climate catastrophe, which is coming like a great wave crashing down upon us, and people are distracted from this. Let's say if global warming's wrong, climate catastrophe is the better word, because some places will freeze and others will be consumed by heat. It's a global climate change. It's out of control. And coronavirus has prevented people from thinking about it for months and months and months and months. They're obsessed with one unimportant disaster, unimportant from the point of view of the survival of the human species.
What can be our way out of this situation?
Well, the lesson ought to be that we have to reduce growth instead of increasing growth. The logic of capitalism is to continually increase growth year by year. We cannot, because there is not enough planet. We only have one planet. We use, at the moment, 1.5 planets just to satisfy ourselves. Everybody wants to be middle class and have all the benefits of being Western middle class. Or the Chinese have now 500 million middle class people who want to have all the consumer items that the middle class have. You can't do that. We have to reduce growth. And so this is why I'm particularly urgently interested in the future of Chinese capitalism worldwide, because the Chinese are, 1 in 4 people is Han Chinese. Yeah. And we are completely distracted from it by coronavirus. You listen to the radio news. Now, in the novel 1984, George Orwell talked about duck speak. Duck speak is the quack, 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 quack of radio propaganda. And the radio news talking about coronavirus numbers, which nobody can analyze. Well, you can analyze them, but the ordinary people listening to the broadcast just hear noise. 245, 135, quack, 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 quack. And this is destroying people's ability to think. They do not talk about the fact that an iceberg the size of London, bigger than Greater London, even a huge iceberg is loose now and is drifting towards the places that icebergs usually go to. First of all, it will destroy the ability of the local penguins and birds to actually get to food, and then it will melt. Nobody's talking about any of these things. It's all 56 people caught coronavirus yesterday in the city of X. So fucking what? This is of great unimportance as regards evolution. I am not denying coronavirus in the slightest. It is very real. I don't want to catch it. I will be killed by it because I have reduced lung capacity, and I know I will be killed by it. But this is not the most important thing in the world, not at all. We are the only example of intelligent life that we know of. We look at the nearby universe and further away, we see no signs even of habitable planets. Our own solar system is a freak, completely unusual compared with the 4,000 solar systems we have discovered so far. There is no sign that conscious, self-aware intelligence is valuable as regards evolution, as regards life. The whole point of life is just to continue and give rise to more life. The dinosaurs, some dinosaurs were here for 200 million years. We have been here for 1 million years or 1.5 million years. And recently, the curve of what we are using and occupying and destroying is going up like that. The rainforests are being destroyed. Why do we have coronavirus anyway? It is because we are cutting more and more into wilderness where little animals, especially bats and rats, are a reservoir of viruses, of mutated viruses. And we push in a big road to cut down the best trees in the African rainforest. We go in there to get the valuable timber out, and we encounter all the little animals and all the little viruses which were not in contact with humanity beforehand. That's just one example. Coronavirus came directly from capitalism.
That's right.
Yeah, well, it's an unhappy thing to think this, because if consciousness is not necessary to life, you know, our type of consciousness, and the consciousness of a dog or a dinosaur is perfectly appropriate, but it does not lead to civilization. And if we are indeed the only or the first conscious species, species with a higher level of consciousness in our galaxy, or even conceivably in the universe, then we have just been very, very unusually lucky until this moment. And we have been lucky at random 20 times, 30 times, 40 times, as regards our solar system, the things that have happened, the way the planets have moved around, the way ice ages have happened, the way we have a moon exactly the right size, an endless series of lucky chances, like winning the lottery 50 times in succession. And there's no reason we should win it 51 times. Well, yeah, which is, I'm sorry to say this, really, but because it's a bit depressing. I used to like to dream about all these other Earths, alien species, interesting alien species, and also human colonies out in the galaxy. And no, it's not possible. We cannot even travel to the nearest star. This was one of the purposes why Kim Stanley Robinson, who one of the most intelligent writers on this subject, wrote Aurora, to show the impossibility, even with the technology of 500 years ahead, of sending a successful starship to the nearest or very close star system. We cannot do it.
Believe in AI. They think that AI will be the biggest and greatest answer to all the problems we are facing now. What are your thoughts on it? Do you think that AI is the best of what we have now to develop for the future to solve our problems?
There's two kinds of artificial intelligence, really. There is very fast computer, extremely very, very fast computer, which is an artificial intelligence which is able to make decisions if we allow it to, but based upon logic, basically, and the best advantage. And then there is conscious, self-aware artificial intelligence. I do not think that is possible because the evolution of consciousness goes together with embodiment, with having a body. It goes together with direct connection with physical reality. I do not think you can have a genuine artificial consciousness evolving outside of a body. Maybe you can, it will go insane very quickly, which is what happens in Frank Herbert's lovely novel, Destination Void.
I think you are the first science fiction writer who tells me that AI can't have ordinary human consciousness.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
these are illusions based upon the speed of development of new ideas and technologies. And any graph that is going like that is going to end in disaster and collapse.
Do you think there are some technological field humanity can develop to be prepared in the future for those kind of catastrophes?
Yeah, but only after there is a major population catastrophe on our planet, because we are projected to reach, 9,000 million or 10,000 million by 2070. That is not unacceptable. Unfortunately, we have to have a population collapse. But also, unfortunately, that means a collapse of modern civilization as we know it. And
Yeah, and I see the AI poster behind you.
oh, yes. I did get that free, but I have the teddy bear. Wait a minute.
Is this the actual one? Is this from the movie?
No. But however, you...
Beware, I think I've got a case of the giggles.
No.
But is it possible to buy it somewhere?
I had to buy it. There was a short period when they thought that they might sell a lot of these, but the film was in America not so successful because it was too thoughtful and poetical. In the rest of the world, it was very successful, but during the brief 2 months while this existed, I bought one.
Beware, grumpy bear.
Okay, thank you, Ian, and thank you, Teddy. Goodbye, and have a nice evening.
Yeah, good, and I wish these things for you, and may you live longer and longer.